Hello, it's me, and I thought I'd wheel out this Dayan Gem, what are we up to now? 8? Yeah, 8. So Dayan Gem 8. So I just kind of pulled this off the shelf. I don't think I'd done a tutorial on this, so I figured, what the heck. But I thought this would be a good opportunity to go through again the approach to a puzzle, maybe a new puzzle, how to generate algorithms, and also look at the perspective. So anytime we get a new puzzle, I like to characterize it, see, well, what exactly am I dealing with? Could I correlate this with other puzzles that are similar, or maybe is this just like a shape mod? Is this a hybrid? The thing about the Dayan Gems...
The hybrid like in Doctor Who.
The Doctor Who?
Yeah, remember the hybrid girl?
Hybrid girl? No.
What's her name? The girl who could live forever.
Oh, yes, yes, the hybrid girl, the one who could live forever. Very good, very good. The one from Game of Thrones, yes, Ariana Stark.
What?
Exactly. So for this... the thing about the Dayan Gems is there's they may be hybrids, they may be shape mods of other puzzles. That's what's really fascinating about this series, is it makes you think outside the box. So in looking at this, the first thing that strikes me is this has a very similar appearance to a Tetraminx. This guy over here. You can see the similarities. We got these shapes here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like it's based on maybe a four-sided puzzle, like a Pyraminx. Pyraminx is four sides, so well, maybe that's kind of what we're dealing with. But you can see the similarities here. So the Tetraminx is really just a truncated Pyraminx. So this is actually Pyraminx just with the trivial tips shaved off and then made into this, but it really functions the same way. So this looks like it might be something like that, but you can see the obvious similarities in terms of shapes. You got the tops, you got these over here. However, I've always maintained that a Pyraminx is a two-layered puzzle. The Tetraminx really kind of bears that out, that this is 2 layers. Just like this is 2 layers with the trivial tips. However, when you look at this, we've got this layer here, 1, 2, 3. So this is a 3-layered puzzle. So maybe instead of a Pyraminx and a truncated Pyraminx, like a Tetraminx, maybe it's a truncated Master Pyraminx. So Master Pyraminx, if you don't count the trivial tips, has 1, 2, 3 layers, just like this 1, 2, 3. So I'm thinking that maybe this is just a truncated Master Pyraminx with very similar type solves, in which case, we finally got it. To even show this more, that maybe this is really just a Tetraminx, a Master Tetraminx, just like a Master Pyraminx, except it doesn't have the trivial tips. If I go like turn, 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 and turn. If I set it up like this and do similar, if I talk about these as the equivalent to these guys over here, the tip areas, or the first layer, and I turn it like this, then you can see how it looks very much like that, how it is very homologous. If you take a look at this, ignoring the tips here, you've got these outer corners and you've got this inner edge, just like these guys. So this correlates with this correlates with this. So that's okay. And then all these other centers correlate, and then you can see a very similar, well, it might be hard to see it from that angle. We'll go like that. You can see how this correlates very much with like this over here. We got the center over here just like this. You got a piece here, here, and here, and they even look like triangles. What's more, this is made up of 2 colors, just like this. This is made up of 2 colors. So great. Then I'm thinking, all right, then what I have is I have a Master Tetraminx. But it has a very important difference. And the important difference is the cut, how this is cut. So, get this back over here. So we can move, you can move the bottom like this, just like that, and then you can move the trivial tips like that. Right, Jessica?
Yeah, right.
Exactly, right. Very good. Everybody's in agreement with me for once in our life. So, here's the important difference though. When solving this, what I would do is I would solve, I would put the trivial tips in. These guys here, this, and this, these are the same piece. So when I turn this, you could see that this is one piece with 3 different stickers on it. This, and this would be the equivalent, but they're not the same piece, because when I move this down, this doesn't move. This stays the same. So it's like this has been cut deeper. So this is a deeper cut, which brings out all these other colors. So I cannot solve it the same way. Because what I would do is I would solve these guys here, and then I would put these in one by one. I'd move this if I can. I would move this up, across and down so that I could move these guys in without disrupting the centerpiece over here. If I try that in this case, then I would move this up, but now I've taken this piece out, then I turn and move it down. So what I've done is I've completely messed that up. So, although I've characterized what kind of a puzzle it is, I still may be able to use some of the algorithms that I used with this, but the solve experience is going to be very different. So then what I'm going to do is take a look and decide, well, in a pinch, as I solve it intuitively, can I generate an algorithm to start moving these guys around, much like I did here, but something that's more specific to this puzzle. So how can I do that? Well, we're going to use our same technique of generating a commutator, and then from there seeing the pattern of how it moves pieces around and make an algorithm. All right, so you know that I'm very partial to RU, RI, UI. Because it's easy to remember, and then I can generate algorithms by, after doing that commutator, find a middle move. So let's see, and you can just do this randomly almost, but you can do R, well, let's see. I'm going to do a combination of different R moves, so this will be my R move and this will be my U move, because that way I'm not restricting any movements. So these algorithms aren't meant to dominate the solve, they're just there to use in a pinch if your intuition is making it difficult, if you have it down between two sides or something like that. So let's see what we can work out. We'll start off with this. This will be my U move, this will be my R move. We'll do R, U, RI, UI. Let's take a look at what we've got, what's around here, and so everything that's been affected, I see this is isolated because none of these pieces, if I do this move, have been affected by this algorithm except this. So this is quite easily a part that can be three-cycled. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to replace this with another piece, knowing that nothing else is going to be affected by the second part of the algorithm, just the reverse of it. So I'm just going to put this up like so. Now let's reverse it. We've got U, R, UI, RI, and simply bring this back. So we take a look, and as you can see, only three corner pieces have been affected. This to here, and this to here. So this piece here, this green, yellow, and red went to here. This blue, green, and yellow went to here, and this yellow, blue, and red went to here. So now I can three-cycle these guys just to get it back into muscle memory. We'll do R, U, RI, UI, bring this down, then U, R, UI, RI, and bring it back. And one more should put it all back in. R, U, RI, UI, bring it out, U, R, UI, RI, and bring it back. Okay, so if we're ever in a pinch, I know how to move these guys around. And then repositioning and positioning will get that in. Let's see if there's some other types of pyraminx algorithms that we can maybe use. You know, another one that, and I kind of put it in a position here, is to move these guys around, these guys over here. The way that I would do this is I'm going to do a variation of the Sunni algorithm, RU, RU, R2, URI, but it won't be 2R, it'll be just 1R. So if you have one that's in and three that's out, just hold this to the right side, and holding it over here with this in front of us, we'll do, what this will do is this will rotate to here, this will rotate here, and this will rotate here. So it's going to be R, U, RI, U, and again, R, U, RI, U. Okay, so that's just making use of that algorithm. So let's kind of dive into the Scramble and see where we go with this, and how I can use a combination of intuition, previous solve strategies from similar homologous cubes, and maybe something a little bit new with new algorithms generated, and maybe something unique to this puzzle. Now, as I'm doing this, I'll tell you in terms of the quality of the puzzle, it moves pretty well, as you can see, but it has a tendency, like a lot of Dayan Gem puzzles, to pop. So I would say that takes away from what I would call the playability of a puzzle. The playability is the ability to comfortably and securely use a puzzle the ease of Scramble, the ease of motion, the portability, this is all playability. And anytime you have something that you have to move very cautiously for fear of popping, it compromises the playability of the puzzle, and hence my particular enjoyment of it. But otherwise, it's a great series because it has all the twisty aspects that I like. So a non-shape-shifting puzzle, but nice little Scramble to occupy your mind with. So the first step that I would do, in line with our pyramid solve, is we might as well reduce these guys. By reducing them, it means putting these little triangles, which are homologous to this piece, right by the center. The reason why I'm going to do that is because this will sort of become, it'll move with the centers over here. So I'm not talking about these two colored pieces, because as you can see, this is really one piece. I'm talking about this one colored piece. As you can see, it's just one piece with one color. And it's not joined to this piece over here. Now that's pretty intuitive and that's pretty easy. You can see this is over here. I'm just going to rotate this around. If I don't see a blue one in here, I'm just going to move it into position. Move the right one into position and splat. Now a couple times this thing completely came apart while I was solving it, so that's why I'm going to move it pretty gingerly. To get it into here, something else that you can do is bump this one out, move it into position. Then we move this back down and bump it back in. So making use of the fact that these are not attached. So this triangle is good. And we're going to do the same thing over here. So let's see, we can move it in from here. This is already spoken for, so let's rotate this around and move this in. Now let's rotate this one in place. I've got a green one here that I can use and move it in. Okay, so now this one is in. Now this one, this step I'm going kind of fast because it is pretty intuitive. Now we have two more layers to go, and this is pretty easy. Now you want to move this in without destroying this, and the way that you would do that is you just move it in. Then you'd have to bump it out of the way. Not here though. Over here, and then move it back. That way that gets this back in. So I'm going to keep doing that move it in, move it out technique. So this goes to here, move it in, which bumps the red one out of the way. Put this in place. Well, actually, so we'll do it this way. We just have one more to go right over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, bump this one out of the way, displace that, move this in its place, then move another position up, like this one, and then move it back. That will get this side and hence this last side as well. So pretty easily and intuitively we got these triangles in. The next part is reduction of an edge the same way we would reduce, say, a 4x4 or a 5x5. So we need, we've got red and blue, so I'm looking for red and blue right over here. So I'm going to move this in place. Now I can do any amount of moving over here and it's not going to disrupt what we did over here. But when I move this piece, it will disrupt these triangles. So this does not belong here, it belongs here. So as you can see, I want to move this into place. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, when I move it into place, I'm going to substitute this whole corner, this whole area, with something from here, here or here. So we'll move it in, as you can see it's in, then get it out of the way, put another one in its place, move it back, and then we simply move this back. We search for what we did, and we can see that this is in over here. So now we're going to find another red and blue right over here, and we do the same thing. We move it in, so now this is fully reduced, bump it out of the way, move this in its place, move this back, and then bump this back. And that's it. So this is in. Now this one already has one in, so let's find the other green and red. So no worries, this one isn't too difficult. We want to move this one in. We got to be careful not to replace it with this guy because it's already done. Okay, a good thing about this puzzle is it doesn't take a whole lot of time to do what you got to do. So move this in, move it out of the way, replace it with this guy here, bring it back, and move it back. So now let's see, red and yellow. Well, actually, let's do this one because we've already got one here. So green and the yellow right here. So move this into place to be replaced by this guy. So move them up, across, replace, back, and down. Okay, now we can do this one blue and yellow right over here. Anything to replace it with? Yep, this here. So we've only just begun. Put it in, move it out, bring it up, replace it. You don't have to bring it down, but so be it. And splat, find what we just did. So the other blue and yellow. Whoa, that was just about to do a mighty pop. Luckily I stopped it just on time. This one, down, turn, 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 and back. Now it turns out that this belonged over here actually, so I'm going to find another one to replace it with. Well, do we have it down to the last two? And we do! So we've got this and this. These are the last two edges. Now, it looks like these two just need to swap, but we're not going to do it that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do my 3 cycle. So when you're down to the last two, this is when we're going to start the 3 cycle. And as you recall, this will go to here, this will go to here, and this will go to here. So I've got to take this. What I'm going to do is let's move this one to here. So that way I can go ahead and do all that. So down, across. I'm just repositioning things so that they'll be, well, I guess I can just do it from here. So how this will work is I'm going to do the R. Let's see, as I recall, this will go here, this will go here, and this will go here. So I've got this green and blue. And what I actually want is, I think I need to turn this upside down to let this happen. So I'm going to move it over here, and then we'll go, well, this will have to come over to here. Turn. Now, how would I make it move without popping it? Okay, I guess that worked. Okay, so this green will go here, which is good. This is going to go down to here. So the way that this is going to work is I'm going to take this piece, and I'm just going to move it down here. Because I know with this algorithm, nothing else will change. So only these are going to 3 cycle. So this will go here, this will go here, and this will go here. So it's going to be R, U, R-I, U-I, and then turn, which puts this into place. U, R, U-I, R-I, and then turn this back. And now what we can do is we can just turn this back where it was here. So let's see what we've got. So this was placed. So now what we have is we have one final 3 cycle to go, and there's no parity in this puzzle, so it's just going to be a 3 cycle that we're going to get. Alright, so I'm ready for one final 3 cycle, and that's going to cycle, well, I got to get this one to here. So I'm going to have to turn, I think, both of them upside down. It's going to go like this, this. Okay, now this is going to go here. This will go to here, and this will go here. So that should do it. So what I have to do is take this and move this down to here, because the actual 3 cycle is this to here, this to here, and this to here, and then all will be right with the world. So I move it down, do my algorithm, R, U, R-I, U-I, bring this up, then U, R, U-I, R-I, and bring this back. Okay, upon doing that, I then just move this back like so, and you can see all of these are reduced. So we didn't have to sweat the last 2, we just used the algorithm to get us through it. It's really more just a quick commutator. So now that we have this, we've basically got it somewhat reduced to really more or less a quasi-pyramid solve. I say quasi because what was trivial tips is actually not, it's this. This isn't really trivial because this does participate in scrambling. So here's how I would do this. The way that I've taken to do this is just putting these guys in and not worrying about the centers, because I have an algorithm that I used for these centers. I did the same thing with the Jinx Pyraminx to get this to move around. However, if you wanted to, you could, but let's say we were looking at the green. So green, this is blue over here. The other green one would have to have the yellow one here, which is this, so I can just, bang, move that in. And I would just put the other green one in, which is here. Got to turn it upside down and down. Okay, so don't worry about anything else. Now it happened to come into this position over here. So when you get it to this position, and this was just purely by chance, when you see that it's like this, This is a situation that's kind of like what we've seen in the Pyraminx, where these guys are all twisted around. I'm going to do a similar algorithm. So if I do R, U, R, I, U, R, U, R, I, you can see that I get into this configuration. And if I move this one more over here, then this is kind of where we're at, where these are in, but the center one is not. So that's sort of what we have here, kind of, sort of. Anyway, so to get out of something like this, what I would do is I would simply take the center and put the center, just transplant it where it's supposed to be. We can get this trivial tip back. And just do the algorithm R, U, R, I, U, R, U, R, I. You can see we're not there yet, so we do it again. R, U, R, I, U, R, U, R, I. No worries. What will happen if we try that here? So this is going to be our R and this is going to be our U. But what we want to do is take these and just let's move this center where they're supposed to be and just do R, U, R, I, U, R, U, R, I, U. And one more R, I. Okay, what that'll do is this will line all these up, so all I have to do is move this back. So really all I did was RU, 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 then an RI, and then that moves that back. It was a similar configuration as this. Okay, so that's one possibility if you should get all of these in, but these centers aren't in here. Now, I told you not to worry about these, but we're gonna go ahead and fix that now. The way this is going to work, it's going to be the same variation of that RU, RI sort of technique. So once you've got these in, and I know there's other situations that might happen with this, the way that you're going to get these in is what this algorithm is going to do is it's going to take this, put it to here, this to here, and this to here. So it's going to rotate these guys around, keeping this exactly where it's at. And it's the same thing. Instead of holding it like this, where the base is on the bottom, you're going to hold it like this, where this is on the bottom, and you're going to cycle these guys around, and that's going to be R, U, R, I, U, R, U, R, I, U. Alright, it did put the green in here, so these are all just variations of the SUNY algorithm. What's going to happen now is, you see this didn't change, this is in, so now we have 3 that have to be cycled around. So take the one that's in and put it on the left, because that's not going to change. And I'll do this algorithm to cycle this around. But you can see this has to come here, this has to come here, and this has to come here. So I could just do the opposite of it and do RI, UI, R, UI, RI, UI, R, UI, and it solves it. So that's how to cycle these guys. However, there's plenty of other types of circumstances, instances, where you might have issues with these guys. So we'll scramble that up and see what we can find. Okay, so here's another scenario. You've got this in, and you can see we have things kind of messed up a little bit here. So what I would do is find one where one of these match up to what's down here. Don't worry about the centers. So this blue will come over to say over here. So this actually belongs here, this red and yellow. Once you have that, notice that you've got this is in, these are fine, these are fine. There's going to be one where only one is where it's, well, yeah, there's going to be one where only one is where it's supposed to be, and that's this one. This isn't and this isn't because it's the wrong color here. So when you find that, obviously it's not this or it's not this, I'm going to once again borrow an old algorithm that I would do with Scubes and also with Pyraminxes, and that's the good old down, down, up, up. So take it over here and put the one on the left side, so this is the left, the one that's where it's supposed to be, which is always going to be this one, and grabbing it from where it's not supposed to be, on the right side, go down, down, up, up. What you're going to notice is all of these are going to be in. See that around here. This is going to be pretty much solved, and all you have to do is turn this to where it's supposed to be here. Bang. So, and that's going to work 100% of the time. So just remember, put the one on the left where it's in, where it's supposed to be, go down, down, up, up, then you have to just move this where it can go to where everything else is in, and you're going to find it at the same place. So we're over here, so now we do our algorithm R, U, RI, UI, R, U, RI, U. I think I said UI, that's not correct. And one more RI should get all of these guys in. Then we just do this the same way. 1 is in, 3 are not. There is no parity in this puzzle. This is held over here. This needs to go to here, so we're going to do the counterclockwise variant. RI, UI, R, UI, RI, UI, R, and UI, and it's done. So those are the different variations. If there's any aspect to this puzzle that might that we didn't go over, one other possibility is that you might see is something like this. You might see something like this, where everything is in except none of these centers are in. This is a very similar situation that I got with the Jinx Pyraminx, because after all, this is a Pyraminx type derivative. So you're going to find that these two have to swap, and these two have to swap. So these back two, and these front two. So the way that you do that is you hold it here and do R. Now my R in this case is not going through here, it's going right through the center. So it's going to be R, U, RI, UI. You do it 3 times. RI, UI, R, U, RI, UI, and that should solve it. So there you have it. Starting off by familiarizing yourself with the basic shape and the classification of the puzzle, putting together a quick little commutator or algorithm to deal with some of the sticky points of a puzzle, then using previous algorithms and previous strategies from what the puzzle most closely represents will generally get you through a solve. And that's part of the fun of doing twisty puzzles and solving them, is to be able to apply different strategies to solve what appears to be new and unique dilemmas. Thanks for watching.